Hello people of the internet. It's your boy Skinny Penis with another fresh from the press replay. Another one on Svea. Actually, it's only the second video on Svea. It took ages to make the first one. This one here is like the highest damage I ever got in it. It's also, funnily enough, the last game I played on it on this account. Just basically played it again for leaderboard. So yeah, arms race game sadly again. So obviously after the Yinan vid. 400k, we have a Svea 400k. Next videos are probably going to be Venezia Lighthouse. Well, yeah, not as was it like not as fresh anymore. That boat has been in the game for a while. I said in the actual gameplay video that I made on it, as interactive as a brick wall. Million utility, extremely fast with speed boost on this account. I also switched the consumable skill 2-pointer and the 2-pointer fire chance to outnumbered, and I gotta say it's extremely viable. I mean, you're kite focused on the flank anyways, and you have barely any gun range, which is really good for outnumbered. So like anything that is like 17, 16 km can get decent value out of it. Anything that's like 15 km, like this one here, or below, obviously gets a lot more value out of outnumbered. I have the feeling though that if you go even lower range, you just lose enemies in your range too. So then obviously you need enemies in your range, but you don't need teammates. So like there's kind of a sweet spot, I would say. Like Svea seems to be right in there. And oh boy, like, I mean, if you play outnumbered and speed boost, you get like 48, 46 knots of speed, so you can always run away. You can smoke 7 times still. They didn't nerf it, they didn't change it. You obviously have DD dispersion on these cruiser guns. You don't have Elbing dispersion, or like Ragnar dispersion, it's the same. Like Ragnar dispersion is pinpoint. In my other video, I said it has like double Ragnar DPM. That is not true. It has a decent amount more DPM, but it's not double Ragnar, that's for sure. Guess I got the wrong idea there. But yeah, what you do here, you go into the flank, you kite out. First of all, like my Yamagiri is already leaving. If you press tab also, like that's always the thing with Svea, they have 2 torp boats and I don't know which one yet. The Yamagiri is obviously an issue, but at least I see the torps. The YY is a big problem, like deep water peats are a massive issue, and as you can see there he is already. They just pop up in your broadside. Sure, you can angle perfectly ass in or nose in, it's mostly still use all your guns, so it's very unlikely you eat multiple peats, but 1 peat is already enough. I mean, it's obviously kind of like Smolensk or any other heavy, super light cruiser. It has no torpedo protection. Once again, Svea being the dented cruiser that gets 30 deck and side and only a small strip of 25 side. It has 25 nose and ass, but even that is actually very uncommon for such a small, supposedly super light cruiser. Because 25 doesn't allow any heavy cruiser to overmatch, which is, it's weird. Like something like a Stalin, I mean, Puerto, Marseille and stuff, they don't overmatch you. Stuff like Marseille obviously has massive issues against it. Technically, most battle cruisers have a hard time against it because they eat 60-second fire, no fire prevention from you, and you pen. Lots of the battle cruisers on some platings even, because you have 30 pen. Stalin obviously has improved pen angle, so you can't really fuck your angling at all. And you just get fucked. But something like a Marseille without improved pen angles, I mean, you can just shred through it. It has like very little means to actually fuck with you, especially also since you're as fast or faster than it if you run away. So it can't really run you down, and you have like the smokes to always go dark. And obviously the smokes allow you to get time off your heal, while the enemy cruiser doesn't get that opportunity. But yeah, obviously this is going to be 400k again. It's arms race, so as always, take it with a grain of salt. It's kind of like whatever. I mean, in this one here, you can even see it's a triple super BB matchmaking in arms race. So obviously there's a lot of damage to be farmed, and it's kind of like just a very lucky incident here again that I get this kind of matchmaking. Once again, I'm not a big fan of arms race. Most of the arms race game are shit. Lately, I have really good ones here and there. Then again, there is a lot of arms race lately for some reason, and most of the games are just shit as always, stomps. But yeah, the 1 out of 10 arms race game that is massive, yeah, is massive. You get a lot of damage. Still don't like the mode. I generally dislike it. Always disliked it. I also technically have an issue with these damage numbers being possible. Because like getting a 400k without arms race in Svea that's a task. Like you have a lot of DPM, you have a lot of utility, but you're in no means like a Smolly or a Yina now or Colbert in terms of DPM. So like you need time, you need RNG, or you also need to hit a lot of torps maybe and then get fires. It's not that easy to get 400. But with arms race, anything is possible really. As you can see, we got the first wave of buffs. We got a lot of them. We're also going to get more reload buff, more damage buff, and also I think a lot of heals. So I'm going to have a lot more HP than I should have. So yeah, in general, just weird mode. As a gimmick mode would have been fine. In randoms, I feel like it's garbage. I also think standard battle is shit, though I also think airship escort is shit. Technically, I didn't really dislike epicenter that much, honestly. Like, I think epicenter is a better mode than like airship escort, standard battle, or arms race, because it forces people a bit more into the middle, and generally people did play a bit more into the middle or around the mid circle. The flanks were a bit more empty. The base wanking in flanks was a bit less. But yeah, people molded about it, and like whatever. As you can see here, basically everything left the flank. So the entire game I'm going to have perma outnumbered, which is massive. Like you get obviously the 8%, so like a speed boost, a normal speed boost because of the skill, and you get the dispersion. And this one here, for example, it's like a reason why Svea, in my opinion, is the biggest piece of shit brick wall ever. Because like 30 mil cruisers are kind of your food. You can just play with them. They're your toys, your bitches. Like I pen him everywhere. I set a million fires, and I have a smoke to go dark in against him. Whereas he's just spotted by now my sub. Could be a DD2, could be a carrier. It doesn't matter. Like most likely, people are spotted in these situations. I could also now radar him, so there's also something. He comes close. Trying to maybe go behind island or dive towards the island, so he's safe from me. I could radar him. That's additional like 19 seconds, 20 seconds kind of farm, which obviously in terms of Svea that's like 15k. With fires and maybe really good hits and shit, is like 20-25k in one radar you can deal to such a cruiser, which obviously wins you the trade immediately. Like I don't know. Also like the inability of most cruisers to ever punch you with AP because you have such crazy gun angles. It's like maybe a Des Moines close range can fuck you over, but hey, kind of whatever. So yeah, pushing the flank. There's no real reason in these kind of games to, like, you basically try to partner up with someone that can spot for you in case you need to take a smoke. So like this Palau is obviously gaining spotting damage off me. He will also be, I think, second in the team just because of that alone. Like he also deals damage, but I mean, he's just being fed spotting damage through me. And yeah, well, I need a teammate close, especially against like BBs and stuff. I technically don't want to open water them on my own. And I want to use islands, and the thing is on top, even if I have to leave this island, I have a smoke on top of everything. So yeah, it's just, what do you do against this ship? I don't know, man. Technically the main, I mean, sure, it can punch a lot of damage into me if it hits my general direction, just because it's 16 shells, but it doesn't overmatch me. Do keep in mind though that something I noticed in Svea 2, I really, really like to dodge stuff like Shikishima, Satsuma, incomparable ships that have higher gun caliber than Yamato. So like they get 35 overmatch. So like technically only Riga has 35 sides and deck, which is like the only ship you can point and click suddenly. But certain ships have, or like specifically in the case of Svea, it has 35 citadel deck. Which means these boats, if they generally hit you, tend to just randomly citadel you at any angle, even if you're perfectly as in. If they access your citadel deck, you blow up. It's kind of the same thing that happens with Yinan if you get hit by some 32 overmatch or above in like anywhere on your ship, really. They overmatch if they access your citadel deck, they overmatch sit you instant. So like the interaction between Svea and Satsuma, or same gun caliber ships, or Yinan and those ships. Though for Yinan you can count in like Yamato, for example, as well, or Musashi. They're just a big threat. Like any sort of RNG shell can randomly half your HP, so you gotta be super cautious. And to be honest, I also learned not to greed against those ships in Yinan or Svea unless I really just have to. It's not really worth it, especially in close to mid range, like close range. It's just, don't do it. Obviously the deck sits are more likely the further away you are because they arc into it. and then they overmatch sit it. So yeah, it's just an engagement you should maybe avoid. Rest of the boats, obviously you don't really care. Svea is obviously a lot more tanky against 406s and below, because they don't overmatch your entire ship. You have 30mm parts. The 30 overmatchers and above are generally a problem, but the 35 overmatchers specifically are a bit weird, because like a 30 overmatcher may penetrate you and overmatch you, but he won't get these incredibly spastic sets where he just has to basically hit a shell midship perfectly as in, and then he gets the citadel on your because of overmatch on the sit deck. 30 overmatcher would ricochet off it and not access the sit. Yeah, it's a bit awkward, but yeah. So yeah, as you can see here, you can just smoke up in their face. Something like a Slava, obviously I have the armor. I can just also kite him open water, farm him. I have torps that I can permanently send. It's obviously a bit of a mess situation when the guy is already looking at you at 9 kilometers. You can't really turn up that much to torp a bit further behind, but as you could see, it's already fine. The torp angles backwards and forwards are incredible. You can spam them out. It's not about the damage you get from them, it's more about the floods you can get. Obviously, you get additional damage too, but it's more about the floodings. Also here again, the guy just sits at 8 kilometers and I can smoke up and be dark. He looked like he's gonna eat torps, so I switched to the Svea to kill him. He fucks me over again, pretty hard. But yeah, kind of looked like he eats the torp, so I wanted to ensure the Svea dies. And obviously in this game my team is completely useless. As you see, shit out torps. I got one torp hit on the Slava earlier, which procced the DCP. Now I got another nice set with 2 torps, but it would have also been double permaflood. He didn't have Kuzi, I think. And yeah, you just keep sending those torps. Also in the beginning of the match, you can turn left, right when you're going in, send 8 Österpeats. So basically you're like an Östergürtel is strapped to you if you play it decent. Sometimes I forget about the torps. Generally you should use them though. Same principle as always. Gunboats, like Smaland or Marsu have the same thing. You don't want the torps for damage. You just want to ensure one torpedo hit with a flood, so you get the DCP and you get insta-perma. Makes the ships or the small caliber HE farm so much more effective that you can actually bring down a lot more ships the moment you hit Peats. Here I hit a torp on the YY. Actually, it's fine. It's really interesting. I'm unspotted here. Sometimes these islands work in weird ways. Like the part where the what's it called, the houses are, that would make me lit. But now I'm currently confused as to, is he close or is he far away? I'm just gonna use a radar. I have 5. They come off cooldown fast, so why not use them? Chat him out. But yeah, he was super close, and it randomly worked in a way that he couldn't see me, and I couldn't see him. But yeah, just average Svea interaction with a DD. You have a million radars. You have the armor and the DPM. It's also like DD doesn't pen you because you don't have the Smolly Colbert armor. Like those ships get penned everywhere by a DD, so being in front of one of those smokes and being lit, they could deal some damage. Svea, not so much. Like basically no damage at all, because none of your platings are pennable with DDHE. Obviously like Haru and Ragnar and stuff pen you, but not the other DDs. You're just holding over them for free. They have like no real way of damaging you back. You could also see that I was extremely cautious with the Satsuma. Even if he's that far away, as I said, like one shell, he has double damage buff too, so like it's a 22k alpha shell. If he gets one shell and he magically connects it with my sit deck, it's over. Like I'm just fucking cooked. Yeah, well, and now we have the next fat BB coming in. We're already on 300k. As you can see, the buffs are working out wonders. I have a triple heal, so I get way more HP than I should. And I have a triple reload and 1 damage. It's like 40% DPM buff. Obviously, the reload buffs are better for this type of ship, because you want the fire chance. Because like, I only pen superstructure on Satsuma, I just want to shoot more. Or when he goes flat, then I'm okay, if he goes flat, doesn't really matter, like AP or normal HE-DPM for fire, like it doesn't matter. AP-DPM, you need flat size, and then reload or alpha, it's literally the same. But for now, reload is obviously better, so I got like the perfect set of buffs. Surely a bunch of HP buffs would have been completely obscene now if I had like 2 or 3 of them, because I had what, like over 50k max HP, and I would heal more, so I'd be virtually unkillable. They scale with each other obviously, because the heal buff is percentage based. like the HP buffs gives you more healing. Yeah, so like, as I said, like, I don't really like arms race. Not a great mode in my opinion, at least not for when you actually give like 2 cents on statistics or records. Like, it's just pointless. But yeah, as you can see, the reload is quite fancy, and you will also see later on. Okay, the guy was behind the island, I remember. You will also see, like, here again, torpedo hits. The nose one that is unsaturated deals over 10k. The midsection one deals 4.6k, even though I have a damage buff. Just because, like, those torps, they don't deal damage, but most of the time on BBs, but they get the DCPs out, and that's all that matters. That midsection torp didn't flood, but it engine damaged him. So even if he only eats that one, he'd still have to DCP unless he wants to sit around with an engine damage immaneuverable. So yeah, I can already tell you that. Can I? Yeah, probably. I mean, it's not a very wild assumption. They're not gonna nerf Svea. The ship is like not really that popular, and also like most people, I don't think, are that effective with it, at least not to a degree. Statistic, like, they look at statistics, as I said in the Yinan vid, and they can't read them because they don't play the game. It's about how like interactive the boat is. If you, by the way, look at the AP chunks, like that's 32 side plating. Like certain BBs, you can just penetrate to shit with your AP, and like the damage output is insane. Like, that thing has AP. It's kind of like Ragnar. You also switch to AP against a lot of BBs in a lot of situations. Yeah. It's about as how interactive is this boat. Like, is it fun to play against? And it's just not. There's a lot more boats that just dislike this ship. Like, they would never want to play against it ever. Then there are ships that have a decent interaction with it. Like, destroyers don't want to interact with it. Doesn't matter. Torpedo boats can kind of AFK torp it. Problem with that is you still have to do it from afar, and spotting it for your team is kind of like, because it just counter raiders you 5 times per game. Also, like, you have no in-betweens. The cooldown is just too fast. So yeah, it's destroyers are out of the picture. 30 mil cruisers are fucked. Battle cruisers are fucked, and battleships, I mean, sure, if they catch you, they can fuck you over. By the way, here it's double homing. It's a double ping. It's like it's completely cooked. I'm gonna eat most of it. There's just like barely any dodging. Also, by the way, triple buff damage, or triple damage buff peats, and it's just like 20k'ing me with 3 peats. Submarines are just a nice interaction. The rest of the game is just gonna be me capping. Obviously, the points up there, you always have to remember, they have 680. Like, they still didn't fix that, by the way, because it does make them money, so they don't fix it. That's simple. So yeah, you have 680 on the enemy team. I obviously have to cap and then pray that I have enough time for the cap to take. Spoiler, I don't. So like, you're just gonna watch me try to figure out where the sub is. And you will see he's gonna pop up behind me. I'll turn it around. Then he's gonna pop. Then I go a while towards his position, because cutting distance is always the smartest thing. In that scenario, like, I can't let him surface in the cap, so I basically just have to keep him out of the cap or out of a buff. I also thought later on that he's gonna go for the reload buff to just ensure another 40-point swing, and maybe I can kill him when he surfaces. That man just gambles it basically on me not having enough time, and he gets away with it. But yeah, he's. I think he's obviously running towards this direction, because U4501 wants to be in front of you with all 6 on you, but it turns out he's behind me. Like, now I turn away because I don't need to chase further. I still think he's up north in his own, towards his own spawn. And it turns out, nope, he's on the complete other side. And look where the fuck this guy already is. Like, no indication, no nothing. It's just garbage. The best part about all of this is the enemy submarine actually knows where I am going. Like, I don't have any indicator, but obviously he has the hydrophone. And he can basically use his hydrophone every minute or every 50 seconds, and he updates my minimap position. So he knows exactly where I'm going, where I am, and where I'm pointed towards. So like, there's very little risk for him. That interaction is just cooked. Even if I have hydro, it's kind of cooked, unless I get him 2 kilometers close to me. But obviously Svea, that's the downside, doesn't have hydro. I don't know how much of a downside it is though. Yeah, well, now I think he's gonna go for the reload buff, and you're gonna see that right before the game ends, he's gonna pop up behind me inside A again and pings like, whatever. It's dogshit interaction. That man isn't completely brain damaged. Therefore, it becomes unkillable or untraceable. Even if he doesn't do much or he doesn't finish me off, which he could, by the way, if he just plays it right. Um, he could easily kill me. He also sent all the torpedoes in the same spot. If he spreads them out in like a kind of like a fan or like a normal torp spread and then pings me, they come in from such crooked angles that it's just fucking over. Yeah, radar because the game is about to be over, so maybe I catch him immediately when he surfaces. I thought he would go there. Now he comes up behind me. Oh, wait, like you can see also how much HP I'm recuperating though. I was down to like 700, 600. Now I'm back to 6,000. Pretty interesting. And how the fuck does this guy end up there again? Like underwater Ferrari type shit. It's just insane. But yeah, lots of damage. Obviously like the torpedo damage and the gun farming combined here. Sadly a loss with 424k, man, it happens. Submarine, I mean 10 more seconds or a bit more on this game and we win. Because I got the mid cap and he can't really surface. I wouldn't have radared if the game would have gone longer. I would have waited and then probably radared the middle if he tries to block the cab and then drop him. But yeah, obviously my super ship's not really performing that well. Both my subs, like this game featured a lot of subs, or like 3 subs that didn't, that weren't brain damaged as fuck. So those 2 got damage and spotting, so obviously they're top of the scoreboard because increased XP. This guy, same thing. Rest of my team just classic dementia. Other side folded over like a warm bag of potatoes, or like a garden chair. Obviously, the enemy team didn't have that many great super ships either. Apart from the funny thing, the Satsuma that was sitting in spawn actually has the highest amount of XP clicking people from spawn, which is quite fancy. So yeah, you can see here also like you get some torp damage, but it's more about like the floods. Like the floods force DCPs. One was, I think, even perma, and then you get the perma fires after, and suddenly 15 fires net you 94k damage. If you wouldn't have the 5 floods, you'd probably be looking at 40, 50k fire damage, maybe less, maybe slightly more, but definitely around half of it only. Like the DCPs are just they're money. They're just real money. So like using the torps, they're 13.5 kilometers range. You can get a lot of random torp hits. Also, like you saw the torp hit on the YY, it gave away his position. It did already 8k, so I can actually kill that man in 1 radar. I mean, he was so close, I'd probably kill him anyways with my reload buffs and damage buffs. But yeah, if there was no arms race, I can't kill a DD in 1 radar most of the time if they just slow down and smoke at mid-range or just turn out and run away. It's not that easy. But this guy just gets 1 shot. So yeah, torps are great. Obviously the Hindenburg with the incredibly engaging gameplay against me, using islands, using smokes, perma-farming him with outnumbered, penning him everywhere. It's like 56k pen. It's just a disaster. Also stuff like Des Moines, suffering massively. Zaus, Hindenburgs, they all just get shredded by something that can smoke against them. You see, like something like a Smolensk is obnoxious too, but at least it doesn't pen them everywhere. Or like a Kulbur can't even smoke and doesn't pen them everywhere. This piece of shit just magically gets the pen damage on the cruisers. I'm not gonna play it that much more, honestly. As I said, like if something is as interactive as a brick wall, it's also very, very boring slash boring, mostly boring to play. Like there's not a lot that goes on. You just know you have a very capable ship that sits around and farms safely the entire time. There's not really something you seek for a few hundred games. We're gonna play it here and there, but yeah, for now I have done like my 160, 80 Svea games. Maybe I'll play it on the NA account too. Yeah, definitely worth it to get it. It's gonna stay in the armory anyway, so you can choose when to get it. But for winning games, it normally is a great cruiser, one of the best. On this account, I really just ate shit in terms of win rate. On main account, I win games on cooldown. Would have to play more to offset the statistics there, but yeah, it's definitely a cruiser. Can get 75 solo win rate even if you really wanted. Amazing, just amazing in terms of how strong it is, but really bad for the game. We had like Cerberus, now Svea, then the Yinan got buffs, and now this week we get Incheon. So yeah, lots of smoke cruiser bullshit farming. As said in the Yinan video, we give them smokes instead of armor. So like we have tons of DPM on cruisers and then we just let them smoke. Remember the days when Minotaur didn't get HE because it had smoke and it would have been too toxic? Well, now here we are and having 50 trillion smoke farm cruisers. Yeah, and we thought Smolly was bad. We got tons of these kind of cruisers now. Anyways, that's it for me. Hope you enjoyed it and see you in the next video.